I just would never, ever put up with someone who wasn't going to do 50-50 with the housework and the cooking.
Right, is everybody finished?
Yeah. I'm going to be one of those women that's really rich, got my stay-at-home husband, and then I'm going to fuck off on holiday and get a nanny. Wow, people are going to hate me, aren't they?
So apparently there is a feminist writer who believes it should be illegal for stay-at-home moms to stay at home once their kids have reached school age. So we're gonna jump into an article about why feminists hate stay-at-home moms, stay-at-home wives so much, and we're gonna talk about some of the data that supports why women want to stay home. So without further ado, let's jump into it. The title of the article says, "Should it be illegal to be a stay-at-home mom? Why feminists are so frustrated." In 1976, feminist icon Simone de Beauvoir said no woman should be authorized to stay at home to raise her children. Women should not have that choice, because if there was such a choice, too many women would make that one. It's funny because when I talk about feminism here on my channel, so many women just write down in the comments, angry comments saying it's all about choice. But your own feminist icon says that if we give women the choice to stay at home, they're going to make that one. They're going to choose nature. They're going to choose what is intrinsic to women instead of what they're pushing, instead of the rhetoric and ideology that feminism is pushing. So, contradiction number one. All right, that's who I thought of when I heard about the column Sarah Lima-Quand, editor-in-chief of Stellar, Australia's most read magazine, wrote for the Daily Telegraph, in which she claims it should be illegal for mothers of school-aged children to stay at home. Yes, illegal. Rather than wail about the supposed liberation in a woman's right to choose to shun paid employment, we should make it legal requirement that all parents of children of school-aged or older are gainfully employed. Unlike de Beauvoir, Lima-Quand, my French is so bad, is a wife and mother of two. She wrote her article in response to a report from the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development that claims mothers at home represents untapped potential and creates potentially large losses for the economy, a position which Lima-Quand clearly agrees. As long as women with children put family first, feminists' utopian vision for gender equality, where 50% of women hold top corporate and government positions right along with men, will never be achieved. You can't make one statement and have your entire premise of your ideology and of your talking points be about choice, right? A woman's right to choose, when on the other hand, you're saying that you want 50% of women in the workforce and representation at the top corporate levels and government and all of that other stuff. You can't have both, because at the end of the day, a lot of women are making the choice to stay at home and take care of their children. Sorry to break it to you. Okay. And they're right, of course. It won't. The mistake is that thinking most women care. The research shows unequivocally that they don't. Shocking? No. I remember my mother telling me more than once that when she attended her graduate school reunion at Radcliffe, one of the female professors gave a lecture about work and family, and she said women need to deal with children as an intrusion in their lives. So does Camille Paglia, the baby boomer feminist who parts ways with her ilk when it comes to the awesome nature of biology and human desire. In her new book, Free Women, Free Men, Paglia explains that feminists have zero regard for procreation. Feminist ideology has never dealt honestly with the role of the mother in human life, she writes. Indeed, it hasn't. The truth is, women change when they have children. They care less about what they do for a living and more about how their children are faring. They also realize they're needed at home in a visceral and primal way. This is exactly correct. When I gave birth to my daughter, for about 6 months, I did not care about YouTube. I did not care about content. I did not care about any of this stuff because all I wanted to do was spend time with my daughter, especially in those first few months when all of those developmental milestones are back to back to back. And still now, I will prioritize my child and my husband over YouTube, over any of this stuff, because at the end of the day, they mean more to me than having this channel. If YouTube took my channel away from me, of course I would be super sad, but my life continues because my work is here. My work is in the home. I make these videos to help women because I think that that's also part of my purpose. But my number one purpose is to take care of my family, to love my husband, and to raise my children. And that's why you guys see me in my house filming videos all the time and not jet setting and doing podcasts and interviews other places, because my job is here and I care more about this than this. And I think a lot of women think the same way. Let's continue. Fathers care just as much about their children, of course, and they too are needed in the home. Yes, that is 100% correct. But men and women are different. Also correct. Men have a visceral need to provide for and protect their families, whereas women are more invested in the home. Naturally, this is a major roadblock for so-called gender equality. Feminists need women to care less about the home and their kids than they do. The majority of women who have children, that I'm supposed to care less about my family and my children than feminist ideology and going into the workforce and caring about a paycheck, because we are going to choose this over the paycheck. We're going to choose this over the advancement in careers. And don't get me wrong, I know women who work from home. Obviously, I'm working from home. I know women who work part-time jobs, but they prioritize their family before they prioritize their jobs. And women aren't listening. According to Pew Research, approximately 30% of married mothers with children at home are not employed. Of the remaining 70% who are employed, at least half of those mothers work part-time or less than their husbands do. Even mothers who do work full-time do not put in the kind of overtime men typically do. Exactly, guys. Exactly the point that I made earlier. I know that there are women that don't feel this exact same way, and they are the outliers. But feminism relies on those outliers. Feminism wants those outliers to become the majority. And women are speaking out and saying, no, like, we want to be in the home. We want to raise our kids. We want to be with our families. And the feminists are foaming at the mouth because they can't get what they want. They don't want women to choose. They want to choose for us. And that's why feminists hate housewives. That's why feminism hates mothers and motherhood and family and marriage. They've been trying to get women to hop on board, to get on the bandwagon, and women are saying no, like, we're not going to do it. That's why feminists are so frustrated. They can't get women to do what they want. The stubborn fact is that women's desire to work for pay once she has children is not synonymous with a man's. Even today, parents split up paid and domestic work along gendered lines because that's what most of them want to do, writes Ashley McGuire of the Institute for Family Studies. Those same women that you're talking about who had children and that are married don't want to go to work. They have made the choice, right? The fact that you think we're stupid and the fact that you think that we don't know what we want, we made that choice. And then feminists complain, oh,
those working mothers who have to split the bills with their husbands, they're working double. They work a full-time job and then they have to come home and work and do the domestic work.
Well, yeah, that's what you wanted, right? That's what you want. You want women to work and be moms. And that's what happens when you're a working mother. You still have to go to work and then you still have to take care of your house.
Oh, it's not fair. Men don't have to do that.
Yeah, well, women didn't have to either, right? If the man is the provider and the woman stays at home, this is my job. At the end of the day, I get to be at home. I take care of my house. I make sure my house is a home, and I take care of my child, and I take care of my husband. And it's fulfilling when my husband eats a delicious meal that I prepared with love, and my child gets to see her mom every day growing up instead of, different daycare assistants. It's a choice that a lot of women are making. It is. I know it's really shocking and surprising for many feminists to understand this, but women want to take care of their kids. Women want to take care of their families and their households. If feminists like Les Macron don't like this fact, that's too bad, but they'll have to take it up with Mother Nature. A quick note of warning though, she always wins. Mother Nature does always win. That is my video for today, guys. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. I am curious to read some of these comments. If you liked the video, please give it a big thumbs up, subscribe down below, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye, guys.